Welcome to the 53rd episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, we take our weekly excursion into the jungles of an uninhabited island where we explore and fight off fearsome guardians, all in the hopes of finding lost artifacts that are clues to a once great civilization. Greg tries to sell me on a couple of kickstarters he's interested in. We revisit our collection videos, episodes 10 and 11, and discuss the ins, the outs, and the biggest surprises of each. We also answer another question from the mailbag. And wait, what? There's no quiz this week?
Nope.
Yay me!
I'm giving you a break, okay?
Thank God.
You needed a break?
Yes, I'm not doing well on these quizzes.
Yeah, well, you don't pay attention enough to the games, I guess.
They
seem to be easy for me.
Some of the most obscure. Oh, we'll see how that goes. Okay.
Are you gonna come up with a quiz?
I just might have to.
Okay, we'll see. And I'll fail it probably miserably.
Exactly.
Okay, so first things, I thought this was a good topic to talk about because of how large our collection is.
Okay.
Moving with a large collection, meaning you're moving your house someplace else.
We have never had to do that, thank God.
No, because we are in our forever home, hopefully.
Yes.
But the reason this was brought up because our friends have to do this.
Our friends from Cooperative Nerds recently announced that they have bought a new house about, and I'm totally guessing here, maybe 20 miles north of where they are now. Better school systems, just bigger house in general. However, the area that has been designated for the game room is smaller. The kids, the kids' rooms are all bigger. The general house is bigger. However,
now they have a pretty good size board game collection, but they also do video games.
And a large, extensive movie collection. Needless to say, they're paring down some.
Yep.
Which is heartbreaking to see all these posts go up, but I get it. But then again, how do you move that big of a collection?
Right. Ours, we'd be saying, nope, we're not moving.
I have this policy where we help other people move whenever they need it. Not because I expect the favor back someday, but because it reminds me why we're never moving again.
Right.
So I get, having grown up in the military, every few years we moved, and I liked that. I liked the fresh, clean areas. I liked the new challenges and all that comes with moving into a new place. Being able to completely reset and revamp how I organize things. And so, yay, I actually like that feeling. But I'm going to go do it in somebody else's house. I don't want to ever have to do it in my own again. And if I want to do it in my own again, we just remodel a room.
Yep. And that's pretty much what we've been doing.
And that's what we've been doing.
Because if you don't know how hard it would be to move our collection, go to the YouTube channel, check out the tour Katie gives of both the rooms we store the collection. And yes, I did say both rooms because both rooms are jam-packed full of games.
Yes. They're a little better than they were a year ago.
Yep.
So, but nonetheless, it would take us a lot of boxes. When my brother and his wife moved, and they had a fairly good sized collection too.
Yeah.
Everything got packed in, and it was all going to be packed for a good amount of time.
Yep.
We literally packed they had the Better Homes and Gardens cubes also, the Calyx generic cubes. And we packed those as full as we could and saran wrapped them.
Yep.
And that held up for the most part. Everything was just going into a storage unit. So it was, once it got moved, it wasn't moving again until we moved it into their new house. But they did lose a couple of shelves, but no severe damage done.
No.
So it wasn't too bad. But everything else, all of the smaller games, things like that, all went into big crates.
Yeah.
Some of the big plastic crates, because they wanted stuff that would not be susceptible to water if something happened. Mm-hmm. So, and I get that. They spent a lot of money on plastic crates just to secure their collections. Mm-hmm. So a lot of money.
Yep. And with our collection too, we just don't have games. We have all the table toppers, and we have your collection of spare parts for games, where you have a small wall just filled with
spare parts,
bins of spare parts, which my sister was totally amazed about when she was over the other day.
Hey, the Girl Scouts have to do a merit badge on making board games. So guess where they're probably going to come to do this project, and I'm all for it.
Right.
I think it'll be fun.
Oh. So another thing, with Doug and Mary having to move, he is actually putting games up for sale. Yes. I don't remember if you just talked about that or not.
I mentioned it.
He's been advertising or putting them up for sale on a Facebook page called Indianapolis Indianapolis
Board Game Exchange. Yes.
So if you want to see what he's got, interested in buying his game, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to sell it to you.
Yes, or check out their page.
Yeah.
You could probably contact them directly through their Facebook page, or I'm sorry, their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Called Co-opal of Nerds.
Yeah, because they put a video out on it, so you can probably comment on that one.
Yes. But yeah, a lot of his has been some of the really big Kickstarters.
A lot of the Kickstarters he just hasn't been able to get to.
Yeah. And now they just don't have room for them.
So if there's a Kickstarter out there that you really, really wanted and just can't get your hands on anymore, check out his page. Check out Indianapolis Board Game Society. Look for Doug Bauer, Bauer, and see what he's got.
Indianapolis Board Game Exchange.
What did I say?
Society.
Oh, Indianapolis Board Games
Exchange.
Do it again. Indianapolis Board Game Exchange.
That being said, you can also check out our Facebook page, the Meeple Society, and he is one of the members. You can probably contact him directly there. By all means, leave a message on the page. He'll see it.
Yep. Okay, one thing I also want to talk about that's not in the banner. I didn't put it down.
Oh.
It came to me just a little bit before we started recording, and that's candy corn.
Oh my gosh.
We both like candy corn.
You got to give backstory.
Yes. Okay. So the Meeple Society is actually part of a podcast group. It was started by our son Justin. Mm-hmm. He has a podcast with him. It's him and Jacob that does. It's the Marvel Timeline Rewatch. They're rewatching all the Marvel
content,
and doing content on talking about each movie separately. Our daughter-in-law Jackie and a friend of hers,
former colleague,
former co-worker, anyway, do a podcast called Two Tired Therapists because they're mental therapists.
They're mental health counselors. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the exact title is, but that's essentially what they do.
It's mental, so that's all you need to know. But they do a lot of stuff that they talk about a lot of serial killers and their diagnosis. Do they agree with it and all that? They also sometimes, every once in a while, I really like to see them get back to it. They take a character from a TV show or a movie and diagnose them. Now, this is all just for entertainment's sake, because as they tell you, they can't legally diagnose anybody on that just because.
And I think it would be a little weird to do that without physically speaking to the person and knowing the person,
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So if any of those you like, check them out. You can both find them as Two Tired Therapists and Timeline Rewatch. But anyway, where I was going with this is that on Two Tired Therapists, Jackie and her co-host Kyle talked about candy corn and how candy corn is just absolutely disgusting. I guess they just blasted us for liking candy corn.
I love candy corn. I can't eat a lot of it because of the high sugar content, but I love the flavor.
Must be a millennial thing.
Maybe.
They've been spoiled with all this new type of candy and everything.
But see, I'm not even the one who buys it. Our Journey buys it, who's younger than Jackie.
Yep.
By like about a decade.
About a decade what?
Younger.
Oh.
Journey and Jackie, I think, are about a decade apart. But anyway, regardless.
Yeah, I think so. Because, Jackie's getting old. I will pay for that, but I'm going to get blasted on our podcast again, but I'm used to it. Anyway, so candy corn, let us know. You like it? You don't like it? Are we right? Are they right? But just let us know.
Does Justin like it?
I don't know. I think he's scared to answer.
I know we always grew up with it in the house.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that. Our kids always grew up with it in the house because I would buy it.
That was one of the first things I would eat is candy corn.
Oh, I love candy corn. Okay, well, whatever.
But see, when we went trick-or-treating, we used to get individually little wrapped pieces of candy too, and apples and stuff like that. Nowadays, oh my God.
Totally different world. Yeah, totally different world.
Anyway, so I just want to touch on that. Since we got blasted, we'll blast back a little bit, but we're probably going to get blasted again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so on to some Kickstarter stuff that I wanted to talk about. The first one is Galactic Cruise. This one is an Ian O'Toole artwork. He's the one that does a lot of the Lacerda games.
Okay.
It's build and launch shuttles and send guests on luxurious space. Let me try that one again. Build and launch shuttles to send guests on luxurious space vacations. It just sounded kind of cool. I mean, it's a mechanism, action point, connections, in-game bonuses, hand management, income, and there's like 11 more things. Okay. So it has a lot of the stuff that we like. What's the other things? Modular boards, market, multi-use cards. See, there you go.
Well, all right. Sounds interesting.
Open drafting, set collecting, track movement. See, it has tracks even too. Variable setups, victory points as resources, worker placement, and different worker types. So yeah, see, it hits a lot of the things we like.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like it.
space. It's got tool artwork. Now the designers, Dennis Northcutt, it's his first one, and then Colton Thompson and TK King designed a game called, what was that? This is their second game basically.
Okay.
But they designed a game called Delivirus, Delivirus. Came out in 2020. What a time for a virus game to come out.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly what that one was all about.
Yeah.
It has a ratings of 3. Oh, it has 3 ratings. I'm sorry. But
anyway,
it has 6.8. But it sounded really cool. Sounded a lot like what we like to play. So
okay. Well, maybe we're checking out once it comes out. We'll see.
The other one was Machines to the Sky. Now, I know I tease you a lot about Pretty. This one doesn't. The one page does not show a lot about it. The Kickstarter page is a prequel. Neither one of these games have been released yet, but I have seen pictures of this game, and wow, it looks real. It is a.
There's no pictures on these.
It's a steampunk kind of game. Well, the environment is steampunk.
Yeah, I could tell that by the.
But it's auction building, deck construction, deck bag or pool building, hand management, events, investment, and market. So it has a market. It's action and bidding. It's deck construction. It's bag or pool building. It sounded really cool. And
yeah.
The pictures I seen of it looked really, really cool. So I was like, I have to check this out.
Well, it looks interesting.
So it hasn't been released yet. So I'll be curious to see it when it comes out and hits Kickstarter.
Yeah. It doesn't say when it's due to hit Kickstarter, does it?
No. Yeah, it just sounded really cool. The mechanisms of the game. It said, in Machines in the Sky, up between 1 and 4 players will manage production engines involving technology, materials, and personnel to contribute to the construction of the Ark project and preserve the future of the humans race. Build and move projects around to optimize your resource production, scoring in either your personal projects or your contributions to the Ark. So it kind of sounds like that last Atlantis Rising a little bit, because it's almost like the Earth is dying and you're trying to build an Ark to another area, but it doesn't sound like it's co-op.
Interesting.
So,
I don't know. I'll be curious to see more about it. We'll have to definitely look at it. They both piqued my interest.
So Machines to the Sky, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for. And Galactic Cruise, I've heard a lot about it. That's why I looked it up, and it looked really cool.
Okay. All right.
So
next we are going to head off into the ins and outs of our board game collection.
Yep. So we are covering episodes 10 and 11 of the Bs.
Correct.
So all these games start with B.
Yes, all but. Okay, no. All right, on the first one, which is 10. On 11, we have one go back, but we'll start with 10. All right, so in 10, we got, how many games did we play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
As she rummages through her book.
We played 17 total games for episode 10. Okay, so here's the brief list. We played a lot of Blocus. We played regular Blocus. We played Blocus 3D. We played Blocus Travel, which is essentially a 2-player game.
I never knew there was that many Blocus.
I know, right? Blocus.
However you might call it.
Okay, good call. Blocus. Blocus Trigon. The Bloody Inn. Blue Lagoon. Blurt. Boggle, the big version. Bonfire. Bonkers, which is actually called This Game is Bonkers, but whatever. Booby Trap. La Boom. Or La Bomb. I think it's La Boom. Bora Bora, Bosk, Botanic or Botanic, however you want to pronounce that one. Bottle Cap Vikings and Brandon the Brave.
Which is a hobby game.
Okay, so first of all, our favorite out of this, the one that definitely stayed in the collections, no questions asked. There were actually a few on this one.
Yeah, I told you there was 4 of them that I really, really liked.
Yes.
And it came down to, if it's just me and you, what are we going to play?
Right.
And this one went out on mine.
Botanic, yes. This was my favorite no matter what. Botanic or Botanic, I don't know. I can't get a clear definition of how it's pronounced or clear decision on how it's pronounced. But regardless, Botanic is my favorite. This is a simple 2-player game where you're choosing tiles out of the middle. On your turn, if you're the start player, you get 2 of the tiles. The other player gets 1. And then it just keeps going that way and taking turns. but you're trying to build out a network of pipes to score points. The pipes are different colors, but before you can build them, you have to put them into the center and they have to be unlocked first. So there's just a lot of steps to getting those pipes unlocked at the right time to get them into your tableau to make them score. It's just a really interesting game, and it's set up for 2-player. It plays quickly. It's a great little game.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our in. Our out was Bottle Cap Vikings. Bottle Cap Viking it's a small box game, and I know a lot of small box games usually have a decent can have a decent game in them. This one just never hit with us.
I didn't feel like it was a game.
I saw the game in it. It's got a rondel where you're picking up supplies or you're picking up resources and stuff, and then you're using those resources to advance on a tech track that's on your personal board. But it builds itself as a city building, and I never saw that.
Yeah, I guess your board is supposed to be like the city or something.
Maybe, I don't know, but regardless, it did not hit with either one of us.
Played it a couple times, and both times we were just at the end of the game. We were like going,
"What just happened?
Why? Yeah, why? Why is this a game?"
So, regardless, this one left the collection. Our surprise, and actually now, as I was reading this one, I actually came up with the second one because I was kind of shocked at how good this one is. But I'll go with the one we talked about first. We talked about this game is bonkers.
Yes, and this one is technically an old game.
This is an old game. Yes, this is an older game. The box definitely shows it. It did leave our collection because we felt that as much fun as we had, it was just not something that was going to come off the shelf very often, but it surprised us in just how much fun it was. Mm-hmm. This is your typical roll and move game where you are traversing the board and doing what the spaces say to do. But it was just, I don't know, it was just fun. So, and the game is indeed bonkers. It just like the title says. But the other one that I wanted to bring up was a small hobby game. And this is an older hobby game. Now the whole old now question comes into play. But thanks, Phil.
Brandon the Brave.
Brandon the Brave. I like this one.
Yeah.
So with this one, it is a tile lane game geared towards small children where you are essentially just trying to match up your city areas or your town areas with your castles and just different things. And if you were able to make matches, you got extra tiles for it. It was just a lot of fun. And the fact it was geared towards small children, I thought it taught a lot of concepts that are very prevalent in older games that we like to play. So I thought this was a really neat beginner introduction to some of these concepts.
Yeah, it's kind of like a introduction to Carcassonne.
Yeah, it really is. And I thought
you're trying to group things together to be able to score points for certain things.
Yeah, so and be able to get extra actions and extra bonuses and to move the dragon around. And yeah, it was just it was just the two of us that played it. We played it to get through the B section. But I remember really liking it. I have to admit, I've been very surprised by a lot of the Hobbit games we've played.
Yep.
And if we had been into board games when the kids were that little, I wish I'd known these were here.
Yeah, known about Hobbit.
Yeah. All right, so that is episode 10. Episode 11. All right, so episode 11, we wrapped up the Bs. We did have one backtrack game, and that is 5 Minute Marvel. We also played Bounce Off, Bowling Dice, Brain-O-Matic. Yeah, go figure what that one is all about. Let's see, Brass Birmingham, Break the Safe, Brew, Bring Out Your Dead, Broom Service, Bruges, Buckaroo, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the 2000 version.
The Milton Bradley version.
The Milton Bradley version released in 2000, right? Bump Arena, Burano, and Burgle Brothers 2. Yes, that was all the games we played on episode 11. So of this one, our favorite, and I wanted to argue, but I could not find one I liked more, was Bruges.
Yep. Well, because it's one of the best games ever.
This is one of Greg's favorites.
We do not need the new one, which is, I don't even know. I
don't remember what it's called.
I don't know. I don't care. I'm not getting it.
Anyway, so Bruges is oh my gosh, it's not even worker placement. It's more of a it's multi-use cards.
Multi-use cards, yep.
Yep, and everything is done off the cards. The cards let you get workers, go figure.
Yep, workers, money.
It lets you get money. They let you.
Canal.
Yep. So just all sorts of things.
And have special powers.
I want to say the cards have 5 or 6 uses.
And get rid of threats.
So yes, This is one of Greg's favorite games by far.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be in his top 10 come the top 100 we are putting together for the end of the year.
Possibly. It might. It may drop. I don't know. It's been a while since we played it. So
it has been a while since we played it. Okay. So the one that left the collection, and there were a couple that left, but the one that stood out the most to us that I was kind of surprised it actually left the collection was Break the Safe.
Yeah.
This is one we've had off and on for years. We had a copy. I think the kids lost half the pieces, so we got rid of it. We found another copy at Goodwill, so I bought another one. I actually had to buy 2 of them to get all the pieces together.
Yeah.
But it was, back when I was doing Goodwills constantly, and I found a couple easily. Mm-hmm. So this one is all about, you are playing, if I remember correctly, you are basically playing master thieves trying to get to find these different codes to get into the main safe. And meanwhile, there's a security guard and a security dog that are wandering the building looking for people. And if you're caught by them, then you're put in kind of a security jail. And the only way out is to either have to roll doubles or something like that. You have to roll not doubles, but a specific icon on the dice, or somebody else come and get you, which in a 2-player game can be rough.
Yeah, because then we both get stuck in jail at one point, and there was no way we could win the game.
Yeah, I think we did. So it's just it's one of those games, and I am finding I don't like this particular mechanic where it's semi-cooperative, but at the same time, if somebody's caught, it's up to somebody else to come to rescue them.
Yeah, because with it not being completely co-op, that other person just leave you in jail and just go off and do everything he needs to do with the game.
Has no incentive to get you out.
Right.
So you're in that case, it's almost player elimination, and I don't like those.
Yes.
For the most part. There are some that I have found that are kind of fun, but that one, not so much. So that one did leave the collection. Again, lots of little pieces. That was part of my fear, is it does sit in the other collection, in the travel collection, and pieces get lost, and there's lots of little ones in that one, but I don't know. They just, again, in the interest of paring it down, that one left the collection.
Yeah.
All right. Our surprise on this one was one we picked up last year sometime. Now, I guess it's been a couple of years, I guess.
Where did we get this? Was this on a Facebook thing or?
I think it was. I could look it up real fast, but I don't have that drive in here, so I'd have to go to the other room and get the drive. But anyway, yeah, we picked it up somewhere a couple years ago. But this is Burano. Burano is all about building up different cities, or not different cities. I'm sorry, different buildings in
Burano.
Yeah, hold on.
A few moments later.
Okay, so let's see. I just grabbed the box. It was within reach. Burano is an island located in the Venetian Lagoon. Oh, that's right. It is over by Venice, isn't it? Yeah. It's famous for its brightly colored houses and lace-making techniques. And that is literally all it says in English on the back of the book. Oh, no, never mind. It does say more. In the game of Burano, players assume the role of the family leader trying to gain reputation by building houses, trading fish, and gaining control of the lace workshops. The player with the most reputation points wins the game. Okay, now that literally is all that's in English on the back of this box. The rest of it is in characters. So Chinese or Japanese, I'm not sure. I love this one. It's got these giant, chunky, colorful, pastel-colored blocks that you are building your brightly colored buildings out of. And then you can put little roofs on them, little bridges across to create your buildings. Meanwhile, you've got workers going to the lace shops and trying to fish and there's just a lot going on in it. I think it surprised us because of just how pretty the game is.
Yeah.
We didn't expect it to be this enormous 3D model of a game by the time you were done. It's really neat. We've only played this ever 2-player too. I'd be very curious to play this 4-player.
Yeah.
And see how much it builds up.
Yep. And we were trying to play 4-player with it one time because when it came up to be played for the video, it was on the shelf to be played when a bunch of people came over to play it. We just never got to it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So that is episodes 10 and 11. Another honorable mention, we did go back on this one, was 5 Minute Marvel. This is it's a hysterical game. It really is. Everybody's working together to come up with certain combinations of icons to take out various monsters and the big bads. And it's chaotic and fun and a lot of laughs. We've enjoyed every play of it.
Yep.
So,
and on 10 too, the Botanic, the one that I settled on.
Yeah.
Also had Bonfire
did.
The Bloody End.
Yes, and you do love both of those.
I mean,
Oh, I love
For the two of
Bonfire,
us, Botanic, whatever you want to call it, is fine because it's already set for 2 players. So there's no autonoma or anything extra you have to do just to play it 2-player.
Well, it's such a quick, easy setup.
Yeah.
A quick, easy play, which is
But
nice.
if there was a group of people, friends coming over, I'm pulling out the bloody end because that's such a blast to play.
It
with
is.
a lot of people, especially with people with a good sense of humor.
Yes. That one requires a good sense of humor.
And it's not good at 2 players.
No, I don't think it is either. All right. That is it for the ins and outs.
Yep. So we're going into our mailbag. We're going to dive in. Kind of empty. But we did have a question. So I got this one off of Twitter. It's kind of curious, though, how I got off Twitter. Because I went to go back and thank him for the question, but it wasn't coming up as an actual handle. Because I went back and said, cannot find this profile anywhere. Like, well, how did he get a hold of me? But this is at mypond75. He like DM'd me through Twitter with the question. But even though I can't seem to find him to thank him, if you know who he is and he's actually listening, thank you for the question.
Yeah, this is a good one.
But it's kind of weird that I can't find you back on Twitter. Because if you go into Twitter and you type in at mypond75, it'll come up, profile can't be found. I'm like going,
that's weird.
Did you message me this and then delete your account? What? I mean, Anyway, so the question is, have you ever wanted to, or have you ever designed a board game?
Well, the second half of that question is easy. No, we have not.
We haven't designed one, but we have tried. We have worked on design.
We have gotten through the preliminary process on a road trip a long time ago. God,
it's been a while.
Was that the 2016 Western Swing road trip?
I think that's what it was.
Wow.
And every note that we took, you can't seem to find anywhere.
I found
because we had the game almost halfway designed.
Well, we had notes taken. We had no actual designs, but we had notes taken on how to play and
we had half the
and
game designed to where we could actually start putting together a prototype if we wanted to. We had enough information to go off of to start playing the game to see how it worked.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, and I've thought of different stuff on it, but if I don't write it down right away, I lose it. So
right.
But yeah, because we were designing one. It was back when we were working with the choirs.
When we were heavily involved in the show choir world.
It was a. I think I originally named it the show or something like that. It was about show choir competitions, and it was like kind of a deck building, tableau building kind of game where you were getting costumes and you were getting the rights to songs and you were fundraising for the money to get costumes and the rights for the songs. And it was like, and then at the end of a round, you would go through a competition, you'd add up your points, and then you would get extra points for whatever place you placed in. And you would do that for like 4 times. And then there was like the state competition, the big final competition and all. But like I said, we were still in the early stages of the design. We hadn't started testing it yet, though. But we have tried. I mean, we had started to, we just never continued on. And I've come up with other ideas for it. And I always thought it would be really cool to design a game. I don't know if I want.
I give props to game designers.
Yeah.
There are a lot of steps involved here and steps that I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could figure out, but I don't know that I have the patience to try.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I give a lot of props to game designers and the people who follow through to see that idea come to fruition.
I think we could possibly do like a dungeon crawl and doing like a, not designing the entire dungeon crawl, but design a campaign for it.
That I could
kind of do that maybe. But
Justin and I kind of did it. We wanted to submit it to Zombicide, but you couldn't. You had all of the fan made designs that Zombicide was willing to publish on their website, which I get.
Had to be out of the base box.
No, you could have multiple boxes.
Oh, okay.
You just couldn't have it. You had to be able to use one set of tiles, and we had.
Not 27 tiles or however many you get.
We had 28 tiles. But our problem was that it wasn't even so much that we used tiles from multiple different campaigns or multiple different boxes. It was the fact that I had a second set of base tiles and we used the flip side of the same tile.
Right.
So we would have to redesign it where we weren't using the flip sides of the same tile in the same campaign. So Justin and I did do that, and I'm sure I have my notes somewhere. God only knows where at this point, because it's been a lot of years since we did that game. But we did design a 28 tile campaign for Zombicide. It took way too many hours to go through, but it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a blast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do more like that.
Yep.
I
I
think I
wouldn't
know somebody
mind
who would help.
revisiting the whole show choir one
Yeah.
and seeing what we could work out. I mean, the only thing is for a game like that to come out, it would have to be something new, something people have never seen before. I mean, okay. Also, I don't know how much the theme would grab people.
I don't think, unless you've been in that world, I don't see the theme
But
grabbing
I
people.
mean, there's games out now about writing music, writing the
That's true.
orchestral music and all that. Like, what's the last one that came out? Why can't I think of it? La something or
I know which one. Lacrimosa.
Lacrimosa, yeah. And there's another one that's a symphony or something like that. You're putting together a symphony to play music. So
I don't know.
who knows? That's something new. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and when we started thinking about designing this, we were designing it for high schoolers. We weren't designing it for hobby play.
because we were going to publish it and just have it with us at competitions and
For
stuff
sale
that
at
people could sell.
competitions, yeah.
And it gives the kids something with the theme of what they're doing, and it's a board game where they can sit down and play it.
Yeah. That was
So,
the thought.
mhm.
And maybe we'll revisit it. Thanks, my Pawn 75, for bringing this back up. I did not need that extra thing out of my plate, but whatever.
Mhm.
So
that is our question. Thanks to MyPawn75, wherever you exist. Apparently not on Twitter anymore. Or X. I'm sorry. It's X now.
Oh,
not
is it
Twitter.
X?
Everybody
Oh.
still calls it Twitter, I think.
yeah, it's
But-
gonna be a hard one to
But
get
yeah,
rid of.
if you have a question for us and you want us to answer it on the podcast, you can email us at themeeplesociety@mail.com, or if you click the link in the show notes, you can find us on any social media and you can DM us through there, or go to our Facebook page. There's a question that comes out every 2 weeks. If you have a question for us to answer, drop us a line there. So we're actually going to do a deep dive. And I
we
think
are
we've
off
been-
to the jungles on the unexplored island of Arnak.
Yeah, and we're going to start doing this because we did that with the last podcast. We did that with Merchants of the Dark Road.
Yes.
So we are actually going to deep dive.
We're going to try to do it every week.
Okay, we're going to we're going to try and do it every week. This might take the place of the quiz show. I don't know.
We'll see.
Something has to give.
Depends on where
anyway, so-
time falls during the week.
Yeah.
So
So this show we're going to do Lost Ruins of Arnak, but not the base game. We are actually going to try and do as spoiler free as we can our thoughts on the Missing Expeditions, the newest one out, and we're talking about the 2-player or solo co-op or a campaign game.
yes.
In it, because you can take all the stuff from it and play it as the regular game,
Yep,
or you
which
can
we
do
will
a
do.
2-player or solo game of the campaign, which is what we did. We played all 6 episodes.
Right.
So Katie, give us a brief rules breakdown.
Okay. So if you've never played the base game of Lost Ruins of Arnak, this game, and I will be honest, I didn't even know I was doing this till we sat down to record. So this will be very brief. So
That's the way you got to do it.
right. All right. So with Lost Ruins of Arnak, it is essentially a worker placement, resource collection, deck building game
In a track. Don't forget the track.
with a science track that you are a research track you are trying to get up. People say you don't have to do the research track in order to win, but yeah, you kind of do.
There's a lot of points on that. you
Yeah,
can
there's
do
a
on the
lot of
table.
points on that research track to leave on the table. So each round of the game, the round goes until everybody passes. Essentially, there are 5 rounds in the game, and each round, again, goes until everybody has passed.
Mhm.
You have options. You have 2 workers that you can put onto the board. You have your main character. You are playing a main character that in some cases have special abilities. In the base game, they did not, but there was an expansion that came out with where all of the different characters had asymmetric abilities, and we've played that way ever since. In my opinion, that is a must-have expansion to this game because it does give it that little tweak that I think it really needed. So, but you have your typical base 2 characters you are putting out, or two workers you get to put out. In order to go, you are using your hand of 5 cards that you get 1 draw of per round. So you're using your 5 cards. You can use them for the symbols up in the corner that are all transportation symbols. They are boots, they are boats, they are cars, or they are airplanes. So you can use those to go to the different areas on the board, or you can use them for their resources or their special abilities, whatever that ability might be. There are compasses, there are coins, there are tablets, there are
arrowheads,
and there are crystals.
Yeah.
The cards will typically give you coins, or your starter cards anyway, will give you coins or compasses. And the compasses are what you need in order to find your way into the jungle up to the different sites where you can start digging. Where you are digging for artifacts, and you do that. When you do that, you turn over a location, you gather all of the resources off of the location just before the guardian comes out to protect them. If you're able to ward off the guardian by giving him whatever he wants, then great. You get those points. He gives you a one-time special, I don't want to say ability, it's more of a bonus.
Yeah.
That you can use at some point during the game, and then you flip him over and you just get the points for him at the end of the game. If you can't, however, ward him off at the end of the round, when everybody's gathering up their 2 workers that they've placed out throughout the game, then you take a fear card. And those fear cards are like any other deck builder. These are the cards that clog down your hand. However, they do have boots on them, so they do have some use.
Right.
But they still clog up your hand because they don't do anything except give you that 1 boot.
Yeah.
Which the boots will do is get you to camp.
Right.
Which is supplies.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting your workers out. You are using your cards to get some supplies. You're using your cards to do other actions. You are using some of those supplies that you've gathered in order to go up the research track to get either more assistance or more supplies and different bonuses through that way. So that is the way the base game plays, essentially. Like I said, 5 rounds and you're done once everybody has passed for that 5th time. So the game currently has 2 expansions to it. The one that gives and for life of me, I don't remember the name of the expansion, but it gives you all of the asymmetrical
expedition leaders, I believe.
Expedition leaders, thank you. It gives you a bunch of asymmetrical expedition leaders that gives every player special abilities. We'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Then they have the newest one, the Missing Expedition. This was a hot commodity. This came out at Gen Con. I think that's where it premiered. We managed to pick up a copy there, one of the last copies sitting on the table. We hadn't planned on picking it up, but boy, I'm glad we did. So what this one does is it provides a storyline into the game. And I'm not going to go a lot into the story because I don't want to ruin anything. And this is where it's going to get difficult. So we're just going to kind of give some impressions. But the idea is that there are 6 chapters to this story. And you are trying to find a lost colleague that has trekked into the jungle looking for this lost civilization. And you have to find him because nobody's heard from him in a while. That is essentially the basis of the storyline. Every chapter gives you new challenges. The game comes with another research track that flips over. So you have 2 sides of a research track that it comes with. It comes with, oh my gosh, 2 new characters.
2 new expedition leaders.
Expedition leaders, thank you, that you can add to your pile of others. Mm-hmm. It does not state you have to use these. You can use others if you choose to.
Yeah, we used the 2 newest ones in the first one.
We played chapter 1. Our first game of chapter 1, we lost horribly because we played it like we would any other Lost Arnak game.
Right.
You can't do that in this one.
No.
So we replayed it using the same characters. The journalist and the mechanic were the 2 that come in this game. So we played using those 2. And the second one we won. Mm-hmm. And it seemed a lot easier. We weren't stressed out about it. It was all good. Mm-hmm. And then the second one comes around. We played 3 games on last Sunday, I think it was, or Sunday before last. I don't remember. But so we played those 3. We played the second one, and we switched up the roles a little bit.
Yeah, I took the captain.
You took the captain, and you found, what was it, the explorer that looked intriguing to me? Yes, the explorer looked intriguing to me, so I tried her out. Now, the explorer only gets 1 worker, but she's able to pay a resource a couple times during the round and move, which was nice. Some rounds I was able to take advantage of that. Others I was not. That is what it is. But I don't want to go into what each of the storyline is.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to go into that. That's the spoiler part.
Right. So the idea is that if you're playing it solo, it tells you to do specific things. If you're playing it as a co-op, it literally doubles all of the challenges.
Yes.
So if you only needed 4 of something put out on the board in a solo, now you needed 8 of them you had to accomplish in a 2-player game. Mm-hmm. And every time the rival, as they call him, during all the rules, he is the rival.
Yeah.
He takes a turn along with everybody else, and he uses the solo cards that come in the base game.
Yes.
As his actions.
And it tells you different cards to put in or take out, or what color cards. Because if you've ever played the actual base game, you know the solo cards are red and green. And then depending on how hard you want it to be is what color. This one, it tells you what color you have to use.
You're using the red.
You're using the red. With some green cards coming in. And
comes in, yes. So it's not too bad. Mm-hmm. But you never have more than 10.
But although I don't think any of those cards were any good, even when the green ones were in there.
No. He was always blocking us, which is that's what it does.
That's what
he's supposed to do. He's supposed to simulate a third player.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, like I said, 6 chapters we got through in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Overall impressions. Now actually game 3, you switched up again and you ended up going with the Mystic.
Yeah.
And we stuck with the Mystic and the Explorer for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't change again?
Nope, I stayed with the Explorer. No, I stayed with the Explorer.
I played the Journalist, Captain, the Mystic. Okay.
Yes,
and the Mystic was the one that played the last 4 rounds.
And I played the Explorer for the last 5 games. Now, we did win all 5 of the games.
Well, the first one
last
we had
5.
to replay.
The first one we had to replay once. The last 5 we did win all of them. And okay, so, and don't make that sound like it was an easy thing.
No, because I felt like that was one of the strikes I had against the game, is that every time we read the new thing, we're like, how in the world are we going to be able to do this?
Yes.
And you're getting halfway through, because there's only 5 rounds, and you're on like round 3, and you ain't even close. You're like, oh, there's no way we're going to finish this.
Yeah.
We should just stop now and just restart. But we always continued on, except for that first one. We always somehow, I'm still trying to figure out how we won the last one.
I am too.
But somehow we squeaked out the victory. So I don't know if it's just design that they want you to worry a lot.
Yeah.
And see if it gets
those juices flowing. Yeah.
Your anxiety levels going through the roof or what.
Yeah.
But
this is definitely one of those games that the further you get into it, the more your rounds are going to grow.
Yeah.
The first round takes 5 minutes because you've only got 5 cards per round. You don't have anything that's going to let you pull extra cards, and pulling extra cards is few and far between to begin with.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything that's going to add to it. So I'd say easily half of the games we played were like, we have to do what by the end of round 1?
Right.
And
especially that last one, you're like, what? There's no way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, but we did. I have to admit, I was very shocked at how much I enjoyed these plays.
Yeah. And
I did not expect to as much as I did.
And that was one of my other bullet points I had on this. Well, there's 2 of them though, but I'm not sure if I can play this just head to head anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I look back at our other plays. I mean, we've played this a total Arnak. Yeah, Arnak. A total of 14 times, including the 7 actually that we played.
Played this time. Okay.
So if you take those 7 out of the 14, we have 7 plays left.
Okay.
You've won 5 of them.
I'm telling you that research crack is the way to go.
I won 1 and Doug won 1. So I'm not really good at this game. And that was the other bullet point I was going to say, is that I kept forgetting it was cooperative, that this one was cooperative, because you would go someplace and like, go there, damn it, now I can't get this. But then I have to say, wait a minute, it's cooperative. It's helping both of us, whether I get here or she gets there.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's helping us.
Yes.
So I had to keep putting that into my head, because you have the knack of playing this game when we play it normally, always taking everything I needed one round before. Now I had to deal with the freaking rival. The rival was doing the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I bet you there was at least 2 or 3 times almost in every one of these scenarios that he would go to the space that one of us was getting ready to go to that turn.
Oh, of course.
It was
all
almost
the time.
Yeah, almost every single one.
Yes. So we found it was important to start opening other options to get some of the resources we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to rely on base camp.
Yeah.
Because base camp, 5 of his cards were base camp.
Yeah.
So.
But then.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a spoiler to say, well, there was that one that, but I got shush because that's a spoiler.
Yes. So if you like cooperative games, and if you like worker placement cooperative games. This expedition or this missing expedition expansion is a great one.
Yeah.
I have to admit.
And like I said, we weren't sure we was going to really get.
I had no plans to get it.
Yeah, and I just so happened we walked into the
Yeah.
CEG or what is it?
CGE.
CGE.
CEG? CEG. Check edition
Isn't
game.
that what I said? CEG?
You did it first, but then I changed it.
The anyway, me and Matt walked in there. Matt was wanting the game.
Yeah.
And I was like going, oh, it's there. There's only 3 left. Oh, well, I'm going to get it real quick. And that was the very first day of Gen Con.
Yeah.
Before the doors even opened, CEG was selling it in their game room area.
Yes.
Out of the main hall. I said, well, who knows if this is going to be out soon. I'll go ahead and grab one and hold on to it. Wait for you to get here and see if you actually wanted it or not. And we ended up picking it up. And
we did. I'm glad we did.
Played. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
This one with this one, even though it is a campaign game, and will we ever go back to the campaign? Maybe. They have it set up so you can just play a single campaign, one of the missions if you want to. Yeah. And that's fine. Some of them were a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind taking a second crack at them.
Yeah.
However, all of the pieces are set up that you could just mix them in with the base game.
Yeah.
And now you've got more pieces, more content to the base game, which, I mean, who can argue with that?
And even if you want to mix those together, then go back and play the missions again. Each mission tells you what cards you're going to need for that mission.
Absolutely.
And you could go back to all the missions and pull all that content back out so they're stacked up the way they go.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be very easy to do that.
But yeah, and even with this one, it adds a little bit of a few extra things that you can play when you're playing head to head from that, so you can experience all the extra cards.
Yes.
In there. So, but the one thing is, I don't think I would ever play Arnak without any of the expedition leaders ever again.
No, that to me, that there are not very many games that one of the expansions has made it so much better that they are, in my mind, required expansions.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. Great Western Trails is another.
Yes. This is absolutely one of those games I will not play without the Expedition Leaders expansion.
Yep. And I guess we'll find out about Ark Nova because Marine Worlds is sitting on our shelf right now.
Came in today. Yep. It did. All right.
I don't know if you noticed at the bottom.
The ranking
I talked about the ranking thing.
I did.
So we're going to rank this game as to what, and give our own thought about the game. It could be one sentence long of a thought, but we're going to still give it our ranking of it. So the ranking is a 1 to 5. And here's the breakdown of the rankings. A 1 is don't bother. We took the hit, so you don't have to. Meaning the game's just lousy. Don't even bother with it. A 3, which is right in the middle. It's a good game, but you may want to play it before you buy it, because it may or may not be for you. And then 5, don't worry about it. Buy it. We recommend it. Go get it.
Yeah.
It's worth buying. So
spoiler alert, if you guys couldn't have already figured out this one, because I think I've already alluded to this, but I'm a 5.
You're a 5.
I'm a 5. If you like Lost Ruins of Arnak, or even if you have never played Lost Ruins of Arnak, but you like that co-op option, this is a good one. Now, Lost Ruins of Arnak, I honestly don't know what the price of it is, but if you don't already own it, to have to buy both of them could be a little bit pricey.
Yeah.
But
this was like $50, wasn't it?
The expansion was we paid 30 for it.
Oh, okay.
But I want to say the base game is 50 or 60. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long time since we bought it.
Right.
But because we bought it when it first came out. But I would absolutely recommend buying this one. It is, if worker placement, and I don't even want to call it a deck builder. Yes, you are buying cards throughout it. Yes, but it's not, deck building is not the primary aspect of this one by any means. It is a side, what's the word for it?
I don't know.
It's a side mechanic. It is just basically a product of the game. It is not the primary focus of the game, is deck building. This is more of a worker placement type of game. Worker placement, resource collection, resource use type of game. But no, absolutely, mine would be absolutely buy it. This is highly recommended by me.
Right. I originally put this down as a 4.
Okay.
Because, like you were saying, before you spend the money on this expansion and the game, you probably are going to want to play the game to make sure that is the type of game you want.
True. I could see if you've not already got the base game, try to get a play of it in first. Make sure that you even like the game itself.
And that's the only reason I've got this as a 4, because I think it's one of those games. It's not for everybody.
Okay, I could see that.
So yeah, you would probably if you've never played it, play it first, because it is a little bit of a
Would I
An
recommend
investment.
the expansion if you
If you-
know you like the base game?
Yes. I would definitely recommend the expansion
Yes.
if you've already played the base game. But if you have not played the base game, play the base game first and make sure you like what this is doing.
I
Because
totally agree with that.
This gets compared with Dune Imperium so much.
It
and
does.
I don't know why, because they're two different types of games. It's just they were both deck builders.
They were both semi-deck builders and
They came out at the
worker
same time.
placement
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah,
time.
they
They
both
both
came
have
out
the same
together.
type of focus at the same time.
Yeah.
To me, this one is
Yeah, I do
far
like
and
this
above
one a
better.
lot better.
Yeah.
I thought at first I liked Dune Imperium better
yeah.
because I had played it more and we had not played this one that often. And now with these 6 plays we just had of it,
Yeah.
I've liked it a lot better. But like I said, I don't know if I can play this head to head anymore.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
I preferred this game as co-op.
Yes, I really liked it at a co-op
Mhm.
option. I absolutely, and I definitely liked some of the challenges it gave.
Yep. So we're
that
either
the
gonna have to
storybook
reset
gave.
it again or look for
Fan made
fan made. That's why I was drawing a blank on it.
some
I don't
fan
know.
made scenarios.
Fan made scenarios to play.
That's a
more
good idea,
co-op
actually.
because
Yeah,
I can't stand it when you play it.
you just don't like losing.
Who does?
Mhm.
If you're a fan of losing, let us know. I think we're not going to get any.
He just
emails or
raised his
anything
hand.
on
I
that.
just want you to tell me. I just want you to know that.
That was an example. They would not have known that if you had not said anything.
But I did.
Mhm. I sometimes talk with my hands. Not as much as you, but I talk with my hands sometimes. Anyway,
Okay.
so that is our thoughts on Lost Ruins of Arnak, the missing expedition. Katie's definitely recommended to go out and buy it. I'm saying, yes, go out and buy it, but play the base game first. Make
Yes.
sure you like that kind of game.
I totally agree there.
So this is going to bring us to the end of episode 53. So what's coming up for the Meeple Society? We are actually, as soon as we get done here, we are heading over to the other table and recording the next episode 41 of Playing Through Our Collection. We've been meaning to get that done, a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
But
2 weeks now.
we
Yeah.
both came down sick. I had no voice.
Yeah, I've been coughing solid for about a week and a half now. So yeah.
So be looking out for that. We also have the top 10 co-ops will be coming out in a few days. You just got to put together a thumbnail.
I got to put
it
together a
on
thumbnail
the
and get it
channel.
uploaded, and it's done.
We are also going to be participating in a 24-hour marathon Extra Life. Now, this is not for the Meeple Society channel, although you can still go to our page and donate to us.
Yes.
But we're going to be doing that next
Saturday. Yep, it's next Saturday if you are local to Indianapolis, it is at Boss Battle Games starting, I want to say at noon
Castle
next
City.
Saturday. Yes.
Yeah, so we're actually dividing that day up. We're actually going
We
to
are.
a board game indie.
A board game
Function.
indie function down on the south side in
Yep.
Beech Grove for the
Yes.
first half of the day, and then
we're there for that.
go after
Okay.
Boss Battle to finish off our day.
Off.
Yes.
And actually, both things are both by members of Board Game Indie. So.
Yes. Yep.
So, our top 100 games list, we're still working on, and we'll start recording those after the new year. And Katie just totally put her head in her hands.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. To get through that.
we
I
are-
think I'm about 30% done.
We're doing this through Pub Meeple. We have every game we've ever played from the time we've started putting in recording our games.
1,700 games, people.
Yeah.
1,700 games played.
And I have done this since 2019. I've put my list together so I can kind of see how it was been going up and down, though, but I'm still going through Pub Meeple. Katie has never done this. And yeah, she's seen how long it takes to do it. But we've been working on this for what, a couple weeks now?
Yeah, about the time we both got sick.
So
a couple
we're about
weeks ago.
30% done with it.
About
So
that.
we'll see where it goes.
Maybe we'll be done by New Year's.
Well, after New Year's is when we're supposed to start recording it. So if you want to follow us on social media, just follow the links in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meetsociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.